Question. In double entry bookkeeping, what is the effect of recording depreciation on equipment? Options. Increase in assets and decrease in expenses. Decrease in assets and increase in expenses. Increase in revenues and decrease in liabilities. Decrease in liabilities and increase in equity. Decrease in assets and increase in expenses. Which of the following is an example of a contra account? Account receivable, account payable, allowance for doubtful accounts, inventory. Allowance for doubtful accounts. What is the primary purpose of a balance sheet in double entry accounting? Options. To report the company's financial performance over a period of time. To show the company's financial position at a specific point of time, to track cash inflows and outflows, to manage inventory levels. To show the company's financial position at a specific point of time. In double entry bookkeeping, what is the normal balance of a revenue account? Debit, credit, neither debit nor credit, both debit and credit. Credit. Which of the following is a characteristics of double entry bookkeeping? Options. Each transaction affects only one account. Each transaction affects at least two accounts. Each transaction is recorded only in a journal. Each transaction affects the cash account. Each transaction affects at least two accounts. When a company pays rent in advance, which accounts are affected? Option. Cash and rent expense, cash and prepaid rent, rent expense and prepaid rent, accounts payable and rent expenses. Cash and prepaid rent. What is the effect of recording accrued expenses in double entry bookkeeping? Options. Increase in assets and increase in expenses, increase in liabilities and increase in expenses, decrease in assets and decrease in equity, decrease in liabilities and decrease in expenses. Increase in liabilities and increase in expenses. In double entry accounting, what is the effect of a debit to the account receivable account? Options. Increase in accounts receivable, decrease in accounts receivable, increase in account payable, decrease in accounts payable. Increase in accounts receivable. Which of the following transactions would decrease the equity of a company? Options. Paying off a loan, declaring and paying dividends, issuing common stock, receiving payment from a customer. Declaring and paying dividends. What is the purpose of closing entries in double entry bookkeeping? Options. To prepare the accounts for the next accounting period, to record all transactions chronologically, to track inventory levels, to manage payroll. To prepare the accounts for the next accounting period. In double entry bookkeeping, what is the normal balance of a liability account? Options. Debit, credit, neither debit nor credit, both debit and credit. Credit. Which of the following is an example of an accrued expense? Prepaid insurance, accounts receivable, interest payable, inventory. Interest payable. In double entry accounting, what is the effect of a credit to the cash account? Increase in cash, decrease in cash, increase in revenue, decrease in revenue. Decrease in cash. Which of the following is a characteristics of a general ledger? Options. It records transaction chronologically. It summarizes all transactions by account. It tracks cash inflow and outflows. It prepares financial statements. It summarizes all transactions by account. Which of the following accounts typically has a debit balance? Options: accounts payable, revenue, inventory, notes payable. Inventory. What is the main purpose of an adjusting entry in double entry bookkeeping? Option: to correct errors in previous entries, to record transaction chronologically, to update account balances before preparing financial statements, to track inventory levels. To update account balances before preparing financial statements. When a company sells goods on credit, which accounts are affected? Option: cash and sales, sales and accounts receivable, cash and accounts receivable and revenue. Sales and accounts receivable. In double entry bookkeeping, what is the normal balance of an expense account? Options: debit, credit, neither debit nor credit, both debit and credit. Debit. Which of the following transactions would increase the assets of a company? Option: paying off a loan, purchasing equipment on credit, issuing common stock, paying employees' salaries. Purchasing equipment on credit. What is the effect of recording unearned revenue in double entry bookkeeping? Options: increase in assets and increase in revenue, increase in liabilities and increase in revenue, increase in liabilities and increase in equity, increase in assets and increase in liabilities. Increase in assets and increase in liabilities. Which of the following is an example of a revenue account? Options: accounts receivable, sales, inventory, accounts payable. Sales. In a double entry accounting, what is the effect of a debit to the accounts payable account? Increase in accounts payable, decrease in accounts payable, increase in accounts receivable, decrease in account receivable. Decrease in accounts payable.